Hello StarCraft 2 fans and welcome to another broadcast brought to you by HuK StarCraft. This is going to be a show match between two players. We've got the Red Protoss HuK spawning at the 6 o'clock position, and of course I have done a co-cast with HuK, and HuK also did recently win the MLG tournament in Raleigh. That's awesome. And a little bit of funny BM here. He's just joking though. HuK's a great guy. I've had a big chance to talk with him and get to know him. He's really cool. His opponent today is going to be, I believe, the Teal Terran here spawning MorroW, who I've also had the chance to talk to a lot. I did a custom set for him with his custom maps that he did. That can be found on starcraftworld.it, and let me turn my phone off. Sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, so we got the teal or pink Terran here spawning at the 12 o'clock, and remember guys, I'm colorblind, so if you're going to correct me, at least throw some good humor in it. So yeah, this is a show match that was brought to you by GoSuGuide.com. So big thanks to them. The shout out to LZ Gamer and In Control for bringing this. I believe they put up a $200 prize pool to these two players. And if you didn't know, MorroW was the champion of the IEM tournament, the Intel Extreme Masters in Germany that Day9 and DePaulo got to cast. So that was a fantastic tournament, and congrats to MorroW. So this is the Battle of Winners. We've got, like I said, HuK from the MLG and MorroW from the IEM. So we're going to have to see what happens in some TVP action here on Lost Temple is going to be game one. And I think there was just a set map pool for the rest of the games. It wasn't that the players got to pick loser map or loser picks, but anyways, pulling up the production tab, MorroW has some fairly interesting TVP play. Most of what I seen from him in the IEM was TVZ though, so I'm curious to see what he's going to be doing. He did pick up his gas a little bit later than some Terrans will in TVP. It doesn't allow you to get the factory out quite as quick, but it's still fairly somewhat standard. I kind of want to get away from the whole quote-unquote standard openings, as it's really starting to diversify, and players are really starting to broaden their spectrum of play styles. So HuK here is opening with the Pylon Gateway gas, and then looks like he's getting his Cyber Core. Oh, no, he did get a pylon up here. Nice positioning on that pylon. It's going to allow him to see on both sides of this shrubbery. So fantastic looking shrubbery there. That does block sight. So this SCV, of course, if he was standing right here, couldn't see here. But this pylon can see both because it is on the high ground. Anyways, also it's sometimes players will hide some tech here. They'll put a robotics facility or sometimes a Stargate up there. Of course, I'm focusing too much on that pylon. So now just chrono boosting out his first Stalker. He didn't choose to get that first Zealot. He did some kind of interesting play here at the Xel'Naga Watchtower. I was watching. His probe was just sitting there for a while, and he was actually waiting for MorroW's scout to come out, and then as soon as he found where MorroW's scout was coming from, he just went and scouted there. So with knowing it was cross position, he felt he did not need to get that first Zealot out, and he's now just pushing away with this Stalker. Looks like it was rallied up here to the Xel'Naga Watchtower. It's a great idea to get a hold of those Xel'Naga towers ASAP. On your respective side, or even if you can control the other players, that's a bonus as well, and it looks like that's what the Stalker is about to do. He might try to come put some early pressure here on MorroW, but MorroW has fortified the front of his base with a bunker. Fairly good positioning on that bunker. It's going to make the Stalkers get choked up at the bottom of the ramp, so they're going to need something like Zealots or another Stalker to get sight on the high ground before they can start attacking. So fairly good position on that. And he has moved right into a factory. Getting that factory out is very, very important for the Terran against Protoss, just to get your tanks out. Zealots are fairly weak against Hellions, but really not until the Blue Flame comes into effect. That Infernal Preigniter is fairly expensive, so it's a little bit tough to get early game. It's very popular to get versus Zerg, but really not that great versus Protoss. So MorroW has fortified his base up and is getting this command center now. It looks like he's flied a barracks over to create one Marine over here. I don't know his reasoning beyond that. I wish I could ask him what he's thinking, but maybe he's just going to use that for scouting. Maybe he thinks that his front of his base is being watched by some stalkers or the like. But that isn't the case, as HuK is just sitting here at the Xel'Naga Watchtowers, and he does have an observer out, so very nice play. Obviously that means he's got a robotics facility. Still not producing any immortals or anything else out of there right now. Probably waiting for a little bit of scouting info. He isn't aware of the factory with the tech lab yet. He just seen the factory. He's now going to float in here and see the command center and see the tanks, and he's going to know that he has to expand as well. Now, that is one thing that's really important as a Protoss player. Sometimes it's very tough to know when to expand. Unless you do some kind of forge fast expand, it's really tough. Because if you are going to open 2-gate robo or even 4-gate, it's very tempting to pump out a lot of units and put some early pressure on, especially on an expanding Terran like this. If he would have caught it a little bit sooner, he maybe could have put some pressure on. But MorroW has some very nice timing on that, and he did salvage the bunker, and he's going to reset up the defenses here at the choke point to his natural expansion. But what I was trying to get at with that is the Protoss' expansions seem to be a little more reactionary than anything for me, or at least that's how I play it. I can get a fairly good army out, tech up a little, get my robotics facility going, get that observer out, and then figure out if I need to expand or if I need to push. And at this point, HuK did decide he wants to expand. Looking at the income tab, we do see it's fairly close, but HuK is ahead on the probes, obviously because of Chrono Boost. Who doesn't know that? But that income is going to be a little bit skewed because of the mules and that expansion. So because MorroW's SCVs are mining more efficiently, he's going to have a better income on minerals, not necessarily on gas because he still hasn't saturated the 2 gas geysers here at his natural. But still playing very passively, both players are actually, and it looks like HuK took out the destructible rocks here at the gold expansion. That's a very good idea. The immortals take him out very quick, and there's no point in having immortal or any of your army really being idle. You might as well do something with them, and taking out those destructible rocks is always a great idea. So looking back here at HuK's base, he's not really doing much different. Obviously, he's expecting or seeing that MorroW is going for a fairly marine-heavy army. He does see marines and tanks, virtually no marauders at this point. Hasn't even researched concussive shells. Stimpak is just finishing. That is going to lead him to believe that Storm is going to be super uber effective in this game. So yeah, not just super and not just uber, but super uber. And he's got a couple here out in the field already. Doesn't have the Kydarian amulet, so they're not going to spawn with enough energy. So while this storm is being researched, it's very important to get a couple Templars out and have their energy building. So they're almost enough. They almost have enough energy for a storm, but by the time this storm finishes, the technology, he should have almost enough storm for 2, and it looks like HuK's got blink, so he's doing a little bit of harassment here. He did use this observer here to blink up to the top, and I love using blink in this scenario, especially on Lost Temple with these high grounds. It makes stalkers very effective. He's getting quite a few SCV kills here, but the tanks are sieging up, and these, oh, very nice job. Only taking 1 shot, these stalkers are able to get out of there, and MorroW here is flying over a barracks to allow his siege tanks to get sight up to the top. So as he starts to get sight, he will have the range that he needs with these tanks, but actually, no, he doesn't. He can't quite hit them. Either way, I did see there's the observer is going around. Looks like they're taking a few more hits than they'd like to, but blinking off to the gold expansion, these marines and now 1 marauder out in the field are going to come take these stalkers out, and they're going to get trapped in here. I don't think they can blink to this high ground, not without that observer, and HuK is frantically bringing that over, but I don't think it's going to be in time. It is, and he does get all 4 stalkers out alive. Fantastic.